as you kind of alluded to when you were talking about the starting pitcher, has a lot of different tools. There's that curveball right there. Has a lot of different tools that she can bring with great spin.
So off and running here, game 3 of this series. Again, the Hogs have won the first 2. The first game Saturday night in extra innings. And then yesterday, 9-0. Take a look at the lineup for Courtney Deifel tonight.
7, 8, 9 have done a great job of getting on base. I mean, really production mark all throughout their order. They've had patience whenever they've needed to. Even Reagan Johnson, their leadoff hitter, who didn't have a ton of RBIs coming into this series. She's had multiple RBIs.
And a Razorback team that came in reeling and have found their groove here, at least for the first 2 games in Knoxville. Mentioned the 2 RBIs for Reagan Johnson. She picked those up in yesterday's game, went 2 for 5. And that's been one of the unusual aspects that you alluded to, Amanda, is the fact that Arkansas's won the first 2 games really with very little contribution from Bree Ellis offensively. Marjetko able to start the night off with a strikeout.
They're at 23%. Interesting, that drop ball usage up 7% from last year when she pitched at South Carolina.
Reagan Kramer steps in with one gone, just underway. Hitting an RBI with a couple of walks in the first game of this series. 4 walks yesterday and almost had a 5th late in the game, which would have tied an Arkansas single game record.
She has always had a really good eye. Knows her strike zone, so much discipline at the plate. You can see her right on top of the plate too. Her toes are on that chalk line, crowding the plate against Marjetko. I was surprised to see her already in a 3-ball count with her eye, and she just doesn't chase. I'm interested to see in this game, Mark, what kind of Tennessee team comes out and plays here to defend their home turf after Arkansas playing very well on Saturday and Sunday, and Tennessee are really not playing great. I think that this could be a defining game for them in their season with how they show up today.
I think that's the impression we got from Karen Weekly visiting with her about a half hour or so ago. There is a sense of urgency for the Lady Vols tonight. It's going to be in play, coming down the line at third. Panel squeezes that for the second out of the inning.
And I think a lot will be determined by the tone set in the circle by Sage Marjetko. Karen Weekly told us before yesterday's game, she's just looking for somebody outside of Carlin Pickens to step up in that with that ace mentality when they get the ball.
So base is empty for Kaylee Wyckoff. Kaylee with 1 hit in each of the first 2 games of the series. Combined 2 for 10, but knocked in 3 yesterday after 1 RBI in the opener on Saturday. I mentioned Marjetko pitched in relief game 1, an inning and a third, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts through 24 pitches. Making her second SEC starts of the season and gets back in the count at 2-2.
I think she has really good stuff, and I think that she has very good spin. You can see the movement of her pitches through the zone. That was a curveball up and down the hands of Wyckoff.
That's hit sharply up the middle and into right center field, and Wyckoff
to work from ahead. Big swing there, and of course, with a few strikeouts and finding herself in a lot of 0-2, 1-2 counts, no surprise she goes up looking early in the count.
And there's your series numbers, and if you look at it, okay, she's 3 for 9, hitting .333, but again, it's been soft contact on those 3 hits, really, for the most part.
Didn't get all of it, but she's so strong, got enough of it to put them on the board.
Got it out just a little to the left to dead center, but still hit it about 215 feet. That's rolled out to Bella Faw, and that will take care of the... Well, one of the other metaphorical curveballs is going to be the starting pitcher for the Razorbacks. You're going to get to see Cam Harrison.
Well, and I feel like you've done your homework because both of these pitchers have good curveballs.
They do. It worked on a couple of different levels there. Yeah.
You've been watching your film for this game tonight, but also has a good rise ball and curveball. The freshman getting the start.
Morgan leading off, strokes it into center field. That's another little tweak that Karen Weekly has made tonight. Savia Morgan at the top of the batting order playing left field.
Now we'd see Kinsey Fiedler leading off for the Vols this weekend. Putting the freshman up there who Karen Weekly really liked her stats against top 50 RPI teams. So putting the freshman in that leadoff spot.
And there is the lineup presented by Karen Weekly tonight. 15 runners left on base in those 2 games.
I love it when Karen Weekly sponsors our lineups, especially her own, right?
She's got her own NIL.
Kim Harrison has had a solid start for Arkansas in her freshman year. Has really good stuff.
Morgan loves to run.
Yeah.
That's her 19th.
Kim Harrison will throw a rise ball at different levels. Her go-to pitch is going to be a curveball. That's what Morgan hit back up the middle of the field for that single, and she'll mix in a changeup a bit as well. Has good speed and movement. Going to need to paint corners like that. I don't know where that one missed. Looked like a good pitch. Didn't get the call.
2-run home run for Bree Ellis in the top of the first. Lady Vols trying to answer in the bottom half. Outside the panel. Time requested. They're very concerned with Morgan at second base, perhaps trying to steal third. In fact, the defense shifted in that direction after that first pitch there to panel. Head coach Courtney Deifel, 7 straight NCAA appearances, still looking for that elusive trip to Oklahoma City, but they helped snap a couple of strings here for Tennessee by winning the first 2 games of this series. Now, Tennessee had won 10 consecutive SEC series. That's been broken. They had won 11 consecutive SEC series at home. Courtney Deifel's team stopped that. And again, the last series loss at home to them was to Arkansas here 3 years ago. Which says a couple of different things. Number one, it says that Tennessee's been darn good the last few years.
Yes. And then it says that Arkansas has been too. Both teams very consistent, especially, coming back from that shortened season in 2020. It's been Tennessee and Arkansas at the top of the SEC.
Panel behind that. It's 2-2. It is a mic'd up Monday. Karen Weekly's mic'd up. See if she's got anything with Craig Snyder there we can listen into a little bit later. Count now full on panel. It seems like a big inning already on both sides because Arkansas gets the 2-run homer in the top from Ellis, and now Tennessee's just trying to get something going offensively.
I think that Karen Weekly is just looking for her team to respond in this game. After they give up runs, respond after giving up a home run in the circle, just different forms of competing and response that she's looking for her team and her players in this game to show up and compete. offensively, it's been tough for them to get anything going. Just scored 3 runs in 15 innings against Arkansas pitching. A lot had to do with Robin Herron, the way that she threw game 1, threw the complete game, had 16 strikeouts, but left 14 on base.
Two on, nobody out, and another 3-2 pitch coming from Cam Harrison. And that's low, ball 4. Panel walks, so a base hit, a steal, and now back-to-back walks, and the Lady Vols have loaded the bases with nobody out.
Cam Harrison, Mark, has really good stuff when she throws strikes. That is always going to be the key for her, and why you're seeing Courtney Deifel go out and visit with her right now, especially with the home run hitter of Boo Gibson stepping up to the plate. She went yard on Saturday. One of the new hitting coach at Tennessee, get his hitters together and talking a bit about the approach here with the chance to answer back.
15 pitches thrown by Harrison, 9 balls, 6 strikes. So to your point there, Amanda, just not finding the zone enough right now.
Out for the big orange, number 24, McKenna Gibson.
Here is Boo. A 2-run homer came in game 1 on Saturday. 0 for 3 with a walk for McKenna Gibson yesterday. Painting that inner half and gets ahead 1-2.
Looked like a little backdoor curveball for both of those strikes to work from ahead against her.
Bases loaded, nobody out for the Lady Vols. Trying to answer the 2 spot the Hogs put up in the top of the first. And also trying to answer back after the first 2 games of this series have been losses for the Lady Vols. Ellis's home run and set the tone early. Very close.
My goodness, went back to that same pitch that she got her first 2 strikes on and just does not get the call. And all of a sudden you look up and you're in a full count.
With nowhere to put McKenna Gibson. 3-2. Got her swinging. Tied her up again.
Backdoor curve movement to it. Huge pitch by the freshman.
The catcher Sophia Nugent takes strike 1. The senior from California with the bases loaded this year, 2 for 5. One of those 2 hits, though, a grand slam. That came against Eastern Kentucky.
We've got to be so careful with the way that Sophia Nugent is seeing the ball this week. Had a great weekend against UConn. Brought that into the midweek. Has had a solid series with a few hits this weekend. She's been seeing the ball the best out of anybody.
Keep seeing Harrison working tight to these right. The bases loaded, 1 out. Let's see what Nugent sees on 2-1.
And she is just going back to that same pitch over and over again. She did the same thing to Gibson.
It's almost like she's daring plate umpire to Robbie Guest to call it a strike. Like, what are you going to call it now? Finally moved one off the plate a bit.
Just to try to get back into it, knowing that she's not getting that pitch called for a strike on the inner half, and finds herself in another full count.
3rd one. Already 26 pitches thrown by Cam Harrison. This 3-2, loop towards left, and it's a sliding plea out. I don't think there's any question the ball stayed in the ballpark. It hit the top of the fence. What might Karen be unhappy with there?
that question. She's talking with first base coach Stephanie Sanders, who looks like she's communicating with her about something potentially that happened at first base, is the only thing I can think about.
The only thing that makes sense was there's some kind of contact with the defender at first, or Karen's wanting an extra base here. Well, nonetheless, the Lady Vols have come back after Bree Ellis' 2-run homer in the top of the inning for the Hogs. A sac fly for Nugent, now a 2-run double for Mealer. And the Lady Vols have a lead for the first time in this 3-game series here in Game 3.
Surprised then she didn't ask for a replay review.
That's where I was going to lead you next.
Yeah, I wonder why.
And that's ball 4 to Doyle. It has been a laboring Cam Harrison out there. 32 pitches so far here in the bottom of the first. Here comes Courtney Deifel. Well, the pitching matchup we thought we were going to get tonight, we didn't get to start the game, but we may get there eventually. And we'll see who Courtney's going to bring out of the bullpen here as Harrison heads to the dugout. Berline's going to come out. Reese Berline going to be the relief pitcher here for the Razorbacks. So with the pitching change for Arkansas, we'll step aside. Ian Harrod's runners at the corners with 2 outs. Katie Taylor, the hitter for the Lady Vols.
The turn of events. Good patience by Tennessee in this first inning to draw 3 walks. Something that when we talked to Craig Snyder, the hitting coach, before the game, he had mentioned to us that he wanted to see them be more patient, not chase as much out of the zone, putting a lot of pressure on the freshman in that first inning.
Berline quickly gets ahead, no balls, 2 strikes.
And enter this game with an opportunity to prove herself against a good Tennessee offense. Nice changeup.
And got her looking, so 3 pitches from Berline. And that retires the side, but not before the Lady Vols answer with 3 runs of their own. We've had a busy first inning offensively. Well, both teams off to fast starts tonight, but let's just look back at the first 2 games, both won by Arkansas, and the Lady Vols never had a lead at any point in either of the first 2 games.
Yeah, and it's coming up with runners in scoring position. Tennessee hitting .071. And Arkansas hitting almost 400 with runners in scoring position. They've had the timely hits. They've continued to put pressure on Tennessee's pitching, no matter who has been in the circle. But Tennessee has just struggled to score runs offensively. And already in this game, they have as many runs as they had the first 2 games against Arkansas, pitching with 3.
Well, Sage Margetko looks to Ella McDowell. We're into the top of the second. Four homers on the year for Ella. A true freshman from Richmond, Texas. You know, you had Cam Harrison, who started this game in the circle for the Razorbacks from Katy, Texas. Your old hometown, Houston area, man, that's developing a lot of good softball talent these days.
Especially Katy, where Cam Harrison played high school at. She went to Arkansas and had another pitcher who's going to OU and another pitcher who's going to LSU. So, I mean, that's just one high school. My goodness, all SEC pitchers on that staff.
I'll have to check it, but I assume Katy High School is winning some titles in the softball down there.
Yeah, that's just their pitching staff. That's not even going through the rest of their roster, right? Tough start for her. You can see the good stuff that she has.
Oh, no doubt. And she was getting squeezed a bit on that inside corner to the right-handed hitters. It was a consistent call, but not the one she wanted. Tough play, close, safe at first. Faw charged and did all she could. Talia Rio jumps on the first pitch, pops it up to short. Mueller under that for the first out of the second.
Second baseman, number 14.
Those pinstripe uniforms Tennessee has on tonight with the Summit Blue pinstripes.
Yes.
Luck.
Here in Knoxville, that color of blue is known as Summit Blue to honor legendary Pat Summit. Strike one to Carly Davison.
The movement on that curveball, to me, do you see it?
Yes.
Like, is that just a me thing? Like, can you see the movement, the sweeping movement on that Margetco curveball is just something that you can clearly see, and there's a changeup to back it up. But that curveball was a pitch that Karen Weekly mentioned to us. Her pitching profile when they saw her in the portal and really liked what they saw. She told us that she doesn't just say that she has 4 or 5 pitches that she can go to. She truly has them when you look at the data on them in terms of the movement and the break and the spin.
And she took care of Carly Davison, who, by the way, had been having a really good series through the first 2 games. And it was just good morning, good afternoon, good night. Boom, 3 pitches.
Quickly. And that's what they need somebody to come in and do in the circle is work from ahead. When you look at...
Wild pitch will advance. Ella McDowell down to second with 2 down.
When you look at the pitching comparison, Tennessee coming into this game had 26 3-ball counts that their pitchers had thrown, and Arkansas just had 13, so half as many, but 19 full counts that Tennessee has had, working deep into counts. It's somebody to come in and establish the zone, set the tone in the circle, and despite giving up that home run, it's really what Sage Margetco has done tonight so far.
Well, we'll see if we see Carlin Pickens tonight, but she threw 161 pitches, a career high in that 8-inning, extra inning loss here on Saturday. And guess what? She's getting loose. Miller strokes one towards center field. Fiedler there. And thought really well because she was running around second, saw the ball hit the railing that it should have been a home run, and she was kind of trotting around the bases, and that caught Karen's attention. She's like, go, run.
Well, it's also a little bit like reverse engineered because the closer that Taylor Panel got to her, the louder her voice got. And you would have thought it may have been opposite, right? Like further away, you need to be a little bit louder.
The first for UC in the second baseman, number 12, Bella Faw.
Laugh about it now. Come the Lady Vols, bottom of the second. 9-1 and 2 hitters. Ball 1 to Bella Faw. Bella did not play in the first game on Saturday. She did play yesterday, went 0 for 2.
We mentioned this being a big game for Tennessee to be able to answer back. I mean, just to be completely honest, they have not played well in Game 1 or in Game 2, and Arkansas has played very well.
Ball's driven towards center field, back to the warning track for Reagan Johnson. Got a crosswind tonight from left center towards right center. The ball's slicing through that crosswind. It was blowing a little harder earlier today. It had a pretty good breeze going mid-afternoon here. 66 degrees. Saying west wind at 6. I bet it was getting up towards 20, 25 earlier today.
That's why you got to go ponytail on a day like today. You can't have your hair whipping around all in your eyes and everything, Mark.
Are you talking to yourself there? I don't travel with my pony wig. I save that for around the house.
It's a little cold, too.
Top of the order is Savia Morgan. This move to the top of the order already paid off for Karen Weekly as Savia led off the first with a base hit, stole second. She would score on a Nugent sac fly.
She had been in the 9-hole, and Karen Weekly had the confidence to move her back up to the leadoff spot. Already paying off with that leadoff single, answering right back after Arkansas got on the board.
I guess in many ways when you're in the 9-hole, you're kind of a de facto leadoff hitter, but it's still not at the top of the order of the lineup card when the game begins. There's a difference.
There's a difference. You can see the confidence, though, in her presence when she steps in the box.
Had a stolen base in that first inning, her 19th of the season for the true freshman from Columbia, Tennessee. She had a high school season where she stole 68 bases in a season in high school. Had 175 career. And that's not what you want to do if you're the Hogs, and that's put Morgan on base with 1 out.
Already 4 walks in this game given up by Arkansas pitching and 4 walks taken by Tennessee hitting, showing that patience at the plate. When Arkansas gets into trouble in the circle, it usually is due to the free pass. They've given up some of the highest number of free passes in the SEC.
Ball 1 to Kenzie Fiedler. Kenzie picked up one of those walks in the first inning. Got to keep a close eye on Morgan. Not running. It certainly has the attention of catcher Kennedy Miller. And there's Robin Herron getting ready. The Razorback bullpen. Three and 0. Reese Berline came in with a couple runners on and 2 outs in the first for the starting pitcher Cam Harrison, and quickly fanned Taylor on 3 pitches. Got Faw to begin this inning. A walk to Morgan, and now a 3-0 strike to Fiedler.
I see Herron warming up, but I feel like Peyton Burnham would be an option today as well. Hands on deck, Courtney Deifel told us before the game, but Peyton Burnham, the freshman, another freshman, there she is, for Arkansas, threw very well yesterday.
That's a strike call, a late strike call, so instead of ball 4, it's a full count. Morgan is running, and the pitch is low, ball 4. So back-to-back 1-out walks. And an exhale there from Courtney Deifel. The free pass total continues to mount here for Razorback pitching. And how long is the rope here for Berline? Looks like it's going to extend, as we saw Burnham and Herron. It's Herron who's the more serious one getting loose right now. In many ways, and we talked about this with Courtney Deifel before the games, Razorbacks are kind of playing with house money here. You've won the first 2 games. You would love a sweep in Knoxville. Those are so rare. But you've already won the first 2 games of the series. Another dangerous spot here, though, with Panel. Leads the Vols team. In fact, one of the tops in the SEC in a number of those departments.
You know, she's wanting to get in on this action. Every time that she's reached base in this series has been via a walk, but no hit recorded yet for her, even with that average.
Towards second. Could this be a pair? On to first in time. Davison to Rio.
The Texas offense is very good, of course, led by Reese Atwood, but among many others, you could name a ton of players in that roster that leads to one of the best offenses in the country.
Towards left field, Morgan there. So that's what's next for Tennessee. They have to go to Norman next Friday through Sunday. That Saturday game on ESPN. Texas, Mississippi State, Georgia, Alabama. They're all great weekends in the SEC.
There's a lot of really good matchups next weekend. And how about the way that South Carolina is playing? They're probably one of the teams, along with Mississippi State, that have impressed me the most up to this point in the SEC. A couple of teams that were picked more toward the bottom of the SEC to finish in the preseason coach poll, but have had really great seasons.
Courtney Deifel's squad with the 2 wins to start this series. Now 3-5 in SEC play. Tennessee now 2-3. So it's a big game on a lot of levels here. But Amanda, these are 2 teams that for a number of years have battled for the regular season crown.
Yeah, and always play each other really tight. You know when these 2 teams meet up, it's going to be a battle.
Go. Kaylee Wyckoff had a base hit in the first inning. Would score on the Bree Ellis home run, which followed her. Damn, Margette goes even on the pitches that are called balls. She's around the zone.
And she's tough to barrel up because she can make the ball bend in so many different ways. She can work east and west. She can work north and south. And they are true pitches that she can get you to chase out of the zone and also locate through the zone for a strike when she needs it.
Shallow center field. Dropped. Looked like a routine play to end the inning, but Wyckoff
Here to Tennessee and moves to the outfield.
4th error in the series for the Tennessee defense.
I mean, that just tells me when you look at game 1 and game 2, pulling all these different instances from defense, from up at the plate, from in the circle, from base running, Tennessee just has been a little bit off. And I feel like that package put together pretty much summarizes Tennessee's the way that they're playing right now this weekend. It's just not been great. So it's important for them to try to win this game and get back on track.
And with everything you just said, for that reason, I say hello to Carlin Pickens.
Last year's SEC Pitcher of the Year entering into this game with a 1-run lead. Thought she was going to get the start today. We saw Sage Margetko come in, but with Bree Ellis, who's coming up to bat now, who would hit the home run off of Margetko, Karen Weekly recognizing that, wanting to put the ace who struck out Bree Ellis 3 times in game 1 to pitch against her.
Well, this is homer in the first inning, 17th of the season. Gave the Razorbacks a quick 2-0 lead, but Lady Vols answered with 3 in the bottom of the first. So Carlin Pickens all ready to go. Panel fields, throw, stretch, safe. Looked like Smokey Edge was about to call her out, and then said that Gibson brought the foot off the base and gave the safe sign. So this time, Karen Wakely gets the review, and it goes in the Lady Vols' favor. So, side retired. You know, we'll see if that non-home run call comes back to hurt Tennessee later in the game, because that really should have been a 3-run home run.
Yeah.
They did not get that run across. So it should be a 4-2 game if you call that a home run off that white railing beyond the fence and right. And hit the railing. Anything above the black padded wall, it gets out as a home run. Boo Gibson, who with the footwork around first base on that throw across the diamond to get us to the bottom of this inning, showed that maybe she should be a gymnast, because that took some athleticism.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, especially when you see it in slow motion. Where she's a player who's played multiple different positions in her career. Very good athlete. Sometimes you'll see somebody over at first base who can't play other infield positions, but that's not Boo Gibson. Third base also. Play anywhere, I feel like, in the infield if her team needed her to.
Berline misses away, a full count on Gibson leading off the third. It's the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Berline came in, got the final out of the first. Got help from a double play ball to end the second. Facing Gibson to lead off the bottom of the third. 3-2 pitch. Foul tip into the glove of Kennedy Miller for a strikeout. Sophia Nugent looks at a strike. Her sac fly in the first inning for a 36th RBI of the year.
Just an interesting stat here. Arkansas in this game already has been in 6 full counts with their pitchers, and we're just in the third inning. In the 2 games combined before this, they only had 5 full counts. That's how efficient Robin Herron was and Peyton Burnham in game 2. And how much Tennessee maybe was helping out Herron and Burnham in those games, chasing out of the zone. Had really good patience in this game, drawing quite a few walks. 5 walks to be exact already.
Well, a conversation with Craig Snyder, the hitting coach, Tennessee, before the game, mentioned some of those same things. I think his evaluation of the first 2 games offensively.
16 strikeouts in game 1 and 8 innings was a career high for Robin Herron and tied the record for an Arkansas single game.
Mentioned that 4-6-3 double play that got Arkansas through the last inning. You mentioned how good the Razorback defense has been this season. They've only committed 11 errors as a team. And they're playing in their 30th game of the season here tonight.
Courtney Deifel said going into the season, I think we're going to be really sound defensively and that it might be the best defense that they've ever had here. Leads the SEC, one of the best fielding percentages in the country, too. No errors this series.
Strike 1 to Mueller. Hit that ball off the railing beyond the fence and right. Instead of getting a 3-run home run, settled for a 2-run double. Mueller, who played a couple of seasons at Middle Tennessee State. Chopped to third, McDowell high, safe. And as soon as we started talking about how great the defense is, that's probably going to be their 12th error of the season right there.
There's been a lot of weird close plays here. That live may appear different than what they
at live, I thought she definitely was safe. But looking at the replay, I think Ellis got the foot down just a fraction ahead of Mueller. So that wasn't a jinx. Technically, that,
yeah, she's
it
still
should have
out
been an
now.
error. Yeah.
Her first baseman bailed her out.
Second base. Now, the defender has the right to field the ball, Mueller did not give her that opportunity, and she has been called out to win the inning. Karen Weekly is going out to discuss that call with Ron White.
Yeah, I think Karen Weekly wants defensive obstruction, and Courtney Deifel wants a runner interference on this play. And exactly what they're talking about, too. Like, Carly Davidson did not need to do that in order probably to even have a runner interference occur there. Let's see.
The ruling on the field is obstruction between first and second base. The call stands.
So they did call obstruction. Okay, so
now he's got the terminology incorrect, I believe.
I don't think so, because the call in the field, and that actually is what I thought, and then I kind of talked myself out of it, to be honest, because we were talking runner interference. But the second base umpire held his arm straight out, which signals obstruction. And
after the full discussion, Arkansas is going to challenge the decision of obstruction on the play. It is now under review.
So, wait a minute here. Arkansas had left the field.
Yes. Because I think they thought it was runner interference, and they were going to break.
And now they've figured out it was obstruction.
That would be obstruction. So she didn't have possession of the ball, and she impeded the runner who's trying to get to second base.
But obstruction was not the original call, was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, now the fact that Arkansas left the field maybe fooled me that they had called interference,
they were
not
trying to
obstruction.
fool everybody, I think.
All right, okay. Well, they accomplished that with me, but the inning continues. Is it just me, or we had a kind of a weird 3 innings here?
Very weird. Welcome to Knoxville, Mark.
Katie Taylor fouls it back.
And after a couple of mistakes, this is a moment you need to capitalize on if you're Tennessee. And when you think about what a team like Oklahoma has done so well in the past 4 years, it's capitalizing on moments like this when the team gives you a free pass, an extra out. That's what Tennessee needs to do to try to extend this lead.
So an error and obstruction have put 2 runners aboard for the Lady Vols. 1-2 pitch.
And to put another wrinkle, that is actually scored as a fielder's choice, in case you were wondering, which I didn't see coming. But now, the more you know.
It's not an error on Davison. It's just a fielder's choice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness.
So I guess you're saying Carly Davison had the choice to obstruct the oncoming runner.
She did take that choice by extending her arms out.
Yeah. It'd been interesting to see what the call would have been had she not put her arms out.
Agree.
And initiated the contact. Because I think there's a chance it might have gone the other way and turned into interference on the runner.
Yes. It's all about her extending her arms on the runner.
2-2 again to Taylor. Off speed, strike 3, outside corner. Ends the inning. 3 Ks in the frame for Reese Berline. When we come back, we'll visit with the Hogs head coach. The count. And that didn't surprise me because Ellis had struck out her last 3 plate appearances against Pickens in the series. The first pitch swinging here. Courtney Day grounds out to third, and that time panel up and makes the good throw across the diamond. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Yep.
Got Leach. Now, by the way, pardon me, Gabby Leach is taking over in right field.
As Pickens comes into this game, you know, she's liking a couple of quick outs to both Ellis and Day, not having to go deep into the count. She threw 161 pitches for a career high in Game 1. Arkansas saw a ton of pitches out of her hand. Just a challenging game for her in Game 1. She was missing with her changeup a bit, didn't have great command. And what stuck out to me the most is that Arkansas, for the most part, as much as you can be against somebody like Pickens, was on time against her. She didn't have as many swings and misses as she usually has from inning number 1. Their approach against her in Game 1 was solid.
Nine in the count to Ella McDowell, 2-0. Well, the 161 pitches were her career high by quite a big number.
Yes.
I think, what was it, 120 something in that ballpark was her previous high. It's a 4-pitch walk.
Tennessee. As a freshman, she got some time behind Ashley Rogers, and then as a sophomore last year, it was her and Peyton Gottschall, the transfer, who came in. They kind of served as co-aces, bouncing off of each other. And this year, in her junior year, I mean, she is the premier ace on this pitching staff.
Jetko, who started the game back in the pen, but Pickens will face Talia Rio. He chops it towards second base. There's the flip to get the out there from Bellafaw to Mealer. They get the lead runner, McDowell, for out number 2.
You can already tell that her drop ball is moving a good bit with these ground outs that she's getting already. All her outs have come on the ground. No swings and misses by Pickens yet today.
You had a nice conversation with Carlin Pickens this week leading up to this game, and Carlin mentioned to you the series that these teams played in Fayetteville 2 years ago. You and I had the pleasure of being there for that, for all 3 games in that series, and Carlin mentioned that as a real, and that was her true freshman year, a real developmental weekend for her in her freshman year. It's going to be off the glove of Nugent to the backstop and allow Rio to advance.
Yeah, specifically learning from Ashley Rogers that weekend, and she said that after the game against Arkansas, Ashley was really vulnerable with the team, talked about the pressure that she was putting on herself and the high expectations, and said, you know what, I'm done playing with so much pressure on myself. I'm committing to playing free. And Carlin Pickens, as a freshman, hearing that was something. I mean, right away when I asked her, what did you learn from Ashley Rogers? She went right to that moment right away. It was an impressionable moment as a freshman to hear a senior All-American pitcher in Ashley Rogers step up to the team and try to shift the tide after that tough weekend against Arkansas.
Yeah, it was a candid moment from Ashley Rogers, who obviously had been through a lot of issues with injuries in her career. But that weekend, whether intentionally or not, she left a big impression on a freshman pitcher, Carlin Pickens. Chop foul at the first base side. Obviously, Pickens brings the velocity. I think they clocked her as high as 77 here on Saturday. Yeah,
which is the fastest that she has ever thrown. It's the fastest pitch ever recorded in softball, tied Monica Abbott, and the fastest pitch ever recorded in college softball. So she has the record at 77 with that, but ties the overall record with Monica Abbott. Best to do it here.
I remember a time when we talked about mid-60s being really fast, and then it kind of pushed to 70. Are we actually starting to think that 80's the next barrier here? And if so, maybe it's number 23 in white who's going to hit that. Pickens gets the strike. They'd won 11 consecutive SEC series here at home. Both those streaks have been ended, and they're trying to avoid being swept in a series for the first time in nearly 17 years.
I think a weekend like this, a game like tonight, is an identity-defining moment for Tennessee. Coming into this weekend, Karen Weekly had told us the identity of this team hasn't been developed yet. And this time of year, you can't really develop that identity until you get beat around a little bit. And his first couple of games, I mean, they've gotten beat around a little bit. So she's looking for her team to come together and respond, knowing that in years past, it's been moments like this that have led to successful seasons later on in the postseason and SEC championships for her squad.
Yeah, I don't want to say they weren't tested last year, but they kind of cruised last year. I mean, they won the regular season in the SEC by 2 games over Florida. Third place A&M was 4 games back. But they never really seem to have a moment like they're experiencing tonight. It's going to stay in play, but it's going to land out of reach.
until the Super Regional that they
the
hosted.
Supers, yes. Regular season, no, though. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But because they didn't have that, it seemed like that moment happened a little bit later and at the wrong time for them, as they lost on their home field in Super Regionals against an Alabama team that got hot at the right moment and did have those challenging moments earlier on in season and played their best ball at the right time.
Out to medium right field. Wyckoff hauls it in for the first out on the SEC Network. Top of the order for the Lady Vols. Savia Morgan went on base twice, a single and a walk.
Spurline has come into this game and done a nice job, with the exception of a couple of walks. He's yet to give up a hit, turn that double play quickly after giving up those back-to-back walks.
Morgan had a 10-game hitting streak back early in the season in February. True freshman. Burline came on, got the last out of the first. Since then, a couple of scoreless innings.
Maybe she's just not as comfortable throwing to lefties. A couple walks that she's given up have been the two lefties in the lineup, Morgan and Fiedler, and then fell behind 3-0 to Morgan again.
To third. And the stretch by Bree Ellis down the line.
Brown and Bree Ellis saved her at first base with the stretch.
'60th pitch from Burline coming next.
Now watch Ella McDowell as she takes this pre-pitch hop. She does it toward the third baseline. You see what I see?
I see it.
So with that hop, trying to time it up with the ball coming out of the hand, and when the hitter is going to take that swing, kind of like a tennis hop. Started that. I remember Auburn doing it for the first time with the Myers. But it's interesting how that hop leads her closer to the line, and it was because of that when Morgan hit that ball down the line that helped her get that out.
Wave and a miss and a strikeout of Fiedler. And they go in order. And the lady.
Cool, and it can be a variety of different things, but in that instance, it was Coach Weekly talking to Carlin Pickens about the strike zone, what they're noticing with their hitters and how that can translate to her being in the circle and using it to her advantage to spread the zone more vertically, a little bit up and a little bit down, even if it meant that she brought the ball more over the plate a tad. Expand the zone vertically, not as much east and west.
Is that a byproduct of, we've seen a lot of close pitches really on both sides, especially on the inner part to right-handed hitters that have been called balls that are close, and it's like, well, take that out of the umpire's hands. Just put it over the plate, in essence, and just go high-low with it.
Yeah, don't flirt as much with the corners. Use the height of the strike zone and the bottom of the strike zone more to your advantage. And Coach Wheatley maybe talking a little bit about the same strike zone we're talking about right there.
Pickens 2-2 pitch.
Just like that, actually. That is a drop ball over the heart of the plate. And Carlin Pickens rebound.
Top of the order for the Hogs and Reagan Johnson. Struck out and flied to left.
It was really cool to get a chance to talk to her earlier this week, Mark, and just tell him that she's grown and her confidence. I talked to her last year too, but 1 year can make a huge difference when you're this age of growing your confidence, and of course more in a leadership veteran role for her now as a junior. It's a changeup for another strikeout. Back-to-back-to-back strikeouts for Pickens. But one thing that I thought was the coolest is that her dad still sends her texts before games that he calls game day keys to success. And this is an example of a text from Carlin Pickens' dad, Philip, to her before the game. One that he sent her earlier this year. But be fierce, never back down, always have that high energy. You always make me proud. Love you. Reminders, little girls are watching you. This is the type of stuff that gives you goosebumps that you might think only happens when a pitcher is 10 or 12 years old. But Carlin Pickens is the reigning SEC Pitcher of the Year. And these are the things that her dad tells her, who means so much to her, still catches her, by the way. He doesn't use a bucket. He squats down, puts on a mask, and he still catches her, even though she throws 75 miles an hour. But her all-time favorite catcher, I'm sure, and he knows what to say to her to get her into the right mindset to feel the most confident, the best about herself entering a game.
Brave man to catch his daughter throwing that hard. But I also love, Dad always reminds her, play like a 10-year-old girl.
Yes.
Meaning just go out there with the innocence and have fun. Popped up foul. Caught by Gibson. Carlin Pickens has come in, sets him down in order in the top of the fifth. 3 of the series as the offense for the Lady Vols showing any signs of improvement here in Game 3.
Couple of hits, and I still think have found ways to answer back. I mean, it was the answer back in the bottom of the first inning. Arkansas put up 2. They put up 3, so that was huge for their confidence. Still 3 runs in the first 2 games, and they have 3 runs tonight with a couple more innings to attempt to score and extend their lead.
And they have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters up here with Taylor Pannell leading off. Walked and scored in the first and rolled into a 4-6-3 double play last time up. Reese Burline came in to get the final out of the first inning and has been very good in relief for Arkansas.
I kind of feel like this game is finally calmed down.
It has. Don't hold your breath. It could change at any moment, but yes, that first inning was weird. Ball's crushed, but going foul.
Something that I noticed in the first couple of innings in Game 1, that Tennessee swings and hitters counts look like that. More aggressive, big swings, more on time. And then it felt like as Game 1 went on, they started to chase more and more off the plate and fed right into Robin Herron's hands. So they started out with great approaches, and it just kind of gradually went away. They kind of got stuck yesterday in Game 2 with Burnham, who gave them a completely different look.
Ooh. Hot shot knocked down by Burline, and she fields her position well. That got
out, but that's the type of hit that will make your heart beat just a little bit faster than it already is.
Yeah, I bet. Gibson ground ball towards deep short. Riho low, dug out by Ellis. 2 away.
Definitely more balls on the ground tonight by Tennessee hitters, in large part to the drop ball that Burline's throwing.
And that's more like the Arkansas defense that they've sported this season. Regent picked up an RBI in the first on a sacrifice fly. In fact, that was the game's first run for Tennessee. Hot shot to third, right near the bag. McDowell across the diamond. A little crow hop to her right, helped out once again. They go down in order. 7 and a
swing and miss pitch, and because her fastball usage has gone down from 44% her freshman year to now just 11% in her junior year. She's relying more on that drop ball, more on her rise ball, and more on her changeup to spread the zone vertically. But it's that changeup, really, as Karen Weekly told us in her coach interview mid-inning. It is that changeup that sets everything up for her.
So by throwing that fastball, in essence, fewer times, will that help her not only in a game but extend her physically better through a season?
Yeah, I think you could see it that way. I see it as her fastball is going to be more of a straight line pitch. It does still have a little bit of a drop to it, but when she is truly trying to throw a drop, it gets more down movement to it. Like that. But the one thing I will say about her rise ball that you just saw there is from her freshman year to now, she's getting more swings and misses on that pitch, up by 20%. It's a significant margin.
Well, Briella's at the plate.
And that's a changeup.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. I just got to point it out.
Way out in front.
Well, but sometimes you can't even recognize it to the naked eye because still, Mark, her 62, 63 mile an hour changeup is some pitchers' fastball speeds.
Absurd. But true. And then she can still bring it mid to upper 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is just so much more demonstrative in the circle now than when we saw her a couple of years ago as a true freshman.
Seen a lot of that indecisiveness from Briella's this weekend. And not just against Carlin Pickens, although that's where it did start with 3 strikeouts that she had against Pickens. I mean, all year, Briella's has been such a well-rounded hitter. She had only struck out 4 times coming into this series all year. Now that number is up to 7 because of the 3 strikeouts that she had in one game against Pickens, which just has not happened for Briella's this year, hitting for both average and power. I mean, she is a hitter hitting over 500, not relying on her speed, but just on consistency.
Carlin Pickens.
With the KO.
We just got word that the 1-1 pitch to Ellis was clocked at 78 miles per hour. It's a first, race to the bag, and that's won by Gibson. So I think we might have just seen a new record-setting velocity pitch in this inning.
We saw it, me and you, right here.
78. So did you at home.
On the Arkansas team and quieting the bats of Tennessee.
Bottom of the 6th, Tennessee up a run. Mueller bounces it foul wide at third. 6, 7, and 8 hitters here for the Lady Vols. All the scoring in this game came in the first inning. Briella's a 2-run homer in the top of the first. Gave the Razorbacks the lead. Tennessee a sac fly from Nugent, a 2-run double from Mueller. Made it 3-2, and that's where the score stands here late, bottom of the 6th. And with Carlin Pickens having now come in this game the last few innings, if you're the Razorbacks, you got to be thinking to yourself, we got to hold them right here. It's already going to be tough enough down at least a run going to the 7th.
Especially with the way that she's throwing.
Well, Reese Berline, this is a season high for her now, 4 2/3 innings. She set down the last 8 Tennessee hitters in a row.
Courtney Dipel has to be really proud of the way that she's settled into this game. Came in at a time where it just kind of felt chaotic, even for us up here. I'm sure both teams felt it in the dugout, but she is nicely settled in and gotten quite a few swings and misses and 6 strikeouts next to her name.
Berline entered the game with a couple of runners on and 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Quickly struck out Katie Taylor to get out of the inning. Berline has not allowed a hit
There's been one ball hit, 2 balls hit to the outfield, but a lot of ground ball outs for her infield. It's so solid.
Tennessee has their 3 runs on only 2 hits. Arkansas has their 2 runs on 3 hits. Each side has committed 1 error. Razorbacks have taken the first 2 games of this series, and again, Tennessee has not been swept in a series. Nearly 17 years. 2 gone.
Should be a good one. Well, not every day or not every week you get to see Oklahoma State at Georgia for a little midweek action.
Yeah. Big 12 SEC. And the last time Tennessee was swept at home was in early May of 2008. That's nearly 17 years ago. That was by number 3 Florida. Gabby Leach.
Did such a good job of changing speeds, keeping the ball down. Her drop ball's been dropping. Sometimes it sweeps across the plate a little bit, like a curve ball, and with down movement, plus throwing that changeup consistently at the knees and below.
First at bat for Leach, who came in the game in right field a few innings ago. Bouncing ball towards the middle and to her right. Davison makes the play. McDowell is singled and walked. The walk came against Carlin Pickens. This is the second time she's seen Pickens tonight.
There's a prime example of that conversation that Karen Weekly had with Carlin Pickens of he likes to call the very bottom of the zone and very top of the zone. Her getting the very bottom of the zone there on that drop ball. Not in that one. And I know too, Mark, I expected Carlin Pickens to start this game. And if I was Carlin Pickens after the loss in game 1 and just really just felt like a challenging game for her, I would have wanted to get back out there.
You were not the only one who thought Carlin Pickens was going to start this game tonight. That's a pretty large segment of the population. But here she is. A 1-run game in the top of the 7th. That we anticipated. Her being in the game at this point.
Looking much more like herself, too. And it just feels like when Carlin Pickens pitches this year, and maybe it's just the games that I'm watching, but every game is a close game. A tie game, a 1-run game. In fact, Pickens has pitched in either a tie game or where she's protecting a 1-run lead in 26 of her last 34 innings. A lot of pitching under duress.
Towards third, charge, pick, panel to first. Couple of ground ball outs for that Lady Vols defense. And the Razorbacks are down to their final out.
Next up, second baseman number 14, Harley Davis.
Arkansas goes home. It takes on Kentucky next weekend. Tennessee goes to Norman to face OU. No pitch to Davidson. Ground ball under the glove of Faw into right field, and the Hogs are still alive.
I mean, Tennessee is going to have to figure out their infield defense, and I just am being honest, because every miscue, mistake that they make on defense is just more pitches that their pitchers have to throw, more looks that the opposing hitters get to see off of their pitchers. Just so many mistakes on the infield this weekend.
They did score an 8-base hit, but I know exactly what you're saying. If you're a pitcher, that ball was hit sharply, but you want that play to be made.
Absolutely. If you're a head coach, it's a play that you expect to be made.
Well, the Hogs have the potential tying run on base. Kennedy Miller. Now they have changed that actually to an error. They put up a hit initially, so it's been changed to an E4.
I wasn't going to go there this late in the game and get into the errors hits conversation, but I'm glad that that one was changed. And this is big too, because leadoff hitter Reagan Johnson is on deck with the 9-hole, the 3-0 count.
Stick around for SEC now. Coming up after we're finished here. Peter Burns, Nicky Fargas standing by. His third and final game of the series. Tennessee trying to salvage one. Up a run late. Tying run at first, 2 outs. 3-0 pitch. Ball 4. And suddenly, there's a lot more drama.
Well, you know that Reagan Johnson is going to want to put the ball on the ground. There's no strikeouts in this inning for Pickens. So ball is looking like, as it's been going, the ball's going to get put in play. And with Reagan Johnson's speed, she's going to be trying to put the ball on the ground and put pressure on this defense to make a play.
David Carter runs at first for Miller. Here's Reagan Johnson, 0 for 3 tonight. Takes the first pitch strike. And Pickens.
Yeah, they needed this. They needed an answer back. They needed to come out and compete. They needed to come out and defend their home field. They needed Carlin Pickens to come out and end the weekend throwing like that. Good 1-run win for Tennessee in a tight game to be able to hold on to this lead for the entire game.
Well, they just announced Pickens throwing that 78.2 mile per hour pitch a couple innings ago to Bree Ellis. It was the fastest in history. So the handshake says the series is over. Razorbacks do win the series.